Hey, we're back again for our Spanish lesson. Hola, chicos. So, your starter for today, it's a vocab learn. So, it's based on the vocabulary from last lesson. So, una ciudad, un polideportivo, un castillo. Log on to active learn and complete it there, please. Once you've done that, come back for the rest of the lesson, which is ¿Qué hora es? To revise how to tell the time in Spanish. Hopefully you've seen this before in Module 3 when we were talking about school and our subjects, the timetable. So we're going to do a quick revision of this so that we can progress next lesson to talk about meeting up with friends and giving a time. Okay, so I'm going to say some numbers in Spanish and I want you to write down the number you hear me saying. There's no worksheet for this lesson except for the final task, so just make sure you've got some paper to hand. So, if I say the number 20 or dos or whatever, so for example, I say dos, you write down 2. Okay, off we go, guys. Number 1, dos. Cuatro. Cinco. 10. 3. 12. 7. 6. 11. 1. I'll repeat those again. 2. 4. 5. 10. 3. 12. 7. 6. 11. 1. So, did you get the numbers in this order? Number 2, 4, 5, 10, 3, 12, 7, 6, 11, 1. Give yourself a nice big pat on the back if you did. And let's move on, guys. Let's refresh our memory in English first of all. Most people can tell the time when it's on their phone or it's on a smartwatch because you see the numbers there and then. But we're going to be looking at an analog clock today, which is where you've got a circle, numbers starting with 12 at the top, then going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and back to 12. And this is how we read it. So, it is something o'clock. It is quarter past something. It is half past something. It is quarter to something. If you saw this on a digital clock, this would end with 2 zeros. This would be 15 because the hand would be here. It's quarter. Half past, it would be 30 because it's 30 minutes into the hour. If it were quarter to, it would be 45 because it's 45 minutes into the hour, or is 15 minutes away from the next one. Remember, when you see a big hand, it's pointing at the minutes and the small hand is pointing at the hour. So for example, this clock here is saying 10 past 10 because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes into the hour and the hour is pointing here. In Spanish, we have the question, ¿Qué hora es? What is the time? We have the same principles, but it's just structured slightly differently. So when you're talking about 1 o'clock or anything within the first hour, we say es la una because there's only 1 hour, it's singular. Think about your adjective agreements in this case. So just 1 hour, es la una y cinco. It is 1 and 5. It's 5 past 1. Es la una y 20. It is 1 and 20. In other words, 20 past 1. Son las. We use this phrase to talk about anything that comes after 1. So son las dos, son las tres, son las cuatro, son las cinco, son las seis. So on and so forth. And y cuarto for quarter past, y media for half past, menos cuarto for 1:45. Feel free to make any notes, guys, and pause the video when you need more time to think and make anything clearer for yourselves. We're just going to quickly focus on this last point here, menos cuarto, because it can be a little bit tricky in Spanish. That's only because 1:45, also on a digital clock seen as something 45. In English, we say 4:45. In other words, 4:45. In Spanish, the way it translates is 5 o'clock less 15. This is exactly the same as 4:45 or 4:45. It's just telling you, first of all, that the 5th hour is coming up, but we're not quite yet. So we're going to take away 15. So to say 1:45, we look at the hour that's coming up next and then say less 15. Let's see if you can translate these 8 sentences into English. The first one, let's do it together. Son las 2:30. First of all, what number is this? That's number 2. Media. Kind of sounds a bit like medium or middle. So half. So, 2:30. So it is 2:30. See if you can do the rest for me. And I'll put this back up so you can see for 7 and 8 what these phrases would translate to. Give yourself 5 minutes and go back to the video a bit early if you need some more support on the structures. Okay, so as we said for number 1, it is 2:30. Number 2, son las 5. It is 5 o'clock. Nothing else, just looking at the number. Same for this one, just looking at the number. Una. Es la 1, it is 1 o'clock. Son las 7:15. It is 7:15. Anything that's got an E, it's going to be past the hour. Son las 9 menos cuarto. It is 9:15 because it's menos, meaning less. 9, that's the hour coming up, but we're not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. Es la 1:15. So we're past the hour, it's 1:15. Son las 4 de la mañana, so 4 de la mañana, and son las 6 de la tarde. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It is 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry, 4 o'clock in the morning for number 7 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon for number 8. Okay. You're now going to be writing the Spanish phrase for the time you see. For example, ¿Qué hora es? You've got a clock here that says 2:15 or 2:15. How are you going to write that in Spanish? We are going to be saying son las 2:15 because it is son las 2 o'clock, 2 and 1/4 essentially, or and 15. Y cuarto. See if you can do the next one by yourselves. So it is 3 o'clock. Son las 3. How about this one? Son las 4. Careful with your pronunciation there, as you can see sometimes I trip up. So 4 is number 4 and cuarto is quarter. 9 o'clock, how do we say that in Spanish? Son las 9. Slightly harder one here. There's no numbers, but we can see that the big hand is halfway round. Give you a bit of a clue. And this one should really be pointing towards that one there. So how many points? Starting at 12, then to 1. The answer in Spanish would be son las 8:30 because we count round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and then a half. See if you can try this one. Remember, we're not quite there yet. That's the clue here. We're not quite there yet. And the answer would be son las 11 menos cuarto because we're not quite at 11 yet. And the big hand is our minutes, and it's at less 15. And here we have 6:15. In Spanish, we would write it as son las 6:15. And another one for you. So we're not quite there yet. That's the clue, we're not quite there yet. So it should be saying son las 5 menos cuarto, which is 4:45. Let's see if you can remember the difference with this one. It's only 1 hour here. The phrase is es la una. Okay guys, you've got to take 10 and 3 choices. Your green option, to draw the hands on the clock. This is on the worksheet. Your amber challenge is to write the Spanish for the time on the clock. So you've got the time written there for you, and then you've got to write in Spanish underneath. And the red is to read the text and answer the questions. I will show you the answers, so pause the video and come back when you are ready to see how you've got on. Right, answers. For green, this is what you should have. Pause the video and make any changes. For amber, going from left to right, so we should have son las 5, son las 9, son las 2, so on and so forth. And for red answers, you've got the questions on the left-hand side, and I've put the answers on the right-hand side. Okay, so next lesson, we're going to be using the present tense with the verb ir, which means to go. We're going to talk about places in your town a bit more, and we are going to write about what you do with your friends in town. Gracias chicos, hasta pronto.